We all see the highlight reels, right? The big wins, the magazine covers, the trophies. But what's the real price of that kind of success? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual human cost of living an extraordinary life, straight from someone who's been there. Let's dive in.
So right out of the gate, we're hit with this idea that just completely flips the script on success. You think you're chasing happiness, right? But what if the reward is just quiet? And what if that quiet is actually, well, lonely? This one thought, man, it just shatters everything we think we know about what it means to achieve something great. It sets us up for a really raw, honest look at what it's like at the very top.
And that leads us right into our first big theme here, the loneliness of success. I mean, we all picture it as this huge party, right? But the reality? It can be pretty solitary up there.
Just picture it for a second. The meetings are finally over, the cameras are gone, and all that noise from the day just fades away. And it's just you, alone with your thoughts. It's not about being powerful in that moment. It's about this incredibly intense reality that sinks in when nobody's watching. It's this deep, profound sense of isolation that can come right after your biggest victories.
Okay, but look, before you ever get to that lonely peak, you've got to claw your way through the valley. And that brings us to the reality of failure. We're talking about the brutal, nonstop struggle that happens way before any champagne is ever popped.
And this isn't about, one little setback. No, this is about living constantly on the edge of disaster. It's that point where you're not even building your dream anymore. You're just fighting tooth and nail, desperately trying not to lose every single thing you've already sacrificed for it.
And the pressure just kept piling on. It wasn't like you could tackle one problem and move to the next. Nope, it was everything all at the same time. You've got SpaceX just weeks away from total collapse, Tesla is hemorrhaging money, and oh yeah, your rockets are literally blowing up. Can you imagine? Every single failure feels like it's your fault, and it feels absolutely catastrophic.
The personal toll here was just immense. This is so far from a 9-to-5 job, it's not even funny. We're talking about sleeping on factory floors, being laughed at by everyone, and watching the very people who believed in you just walk away. That's the gritty, unglamorous side of being completely obsessed with a goal.
And this is the breaking point, that moment of just soul-crushing doubt. After all that struggle, all the ridicule, all the financial pressure, it all boils down to this one simple question you ask yourself. Was any of this worth it? And that question, man, that question alone is heavy enough to completely break you. So, what could possibly pull you back from an edge like that? Well, this is where we get to the turning point. It's a fundamental shift in how you think, and it's all driven by purpose. This is the moment where your entire reason for struggling changes. The key, the absolute game changer, is finding purpose. And look, it's not about ignoring the pain or pretending the struggle isn't happening. Not at all. It's about finding a mission that is so incredibly important that the pain just doesn't matter as much. Your why becomes so much bigger than the how hard. And this slide, wow, this just captures that mental shift perfectly. You completely stop fixating on how hard it is. The question in your head is no longer, man, is this hard? Because of course it is. The answer is always yes. The new question, the right question is this necessary? Is what I'm doing right now actually moving the mission forward? It seems like such a small change, but it's a profound shift in how you see everything.
But let's say you do it. You get through all that and you win. What happens then? Well, that brings us to the true weight of winning. Because the reality of success, as you can probably guess, is almost never the dream we cook up in our heads.
And this is a question I think we all need to ask ourselves, right? We chase success thinking it's going to set us free, that it's the ultimate ticket to freedom. But is it? Is that really what happens?
The short answer? Nope, not at all. Success doesn't bring freedom. It just swaps out your old burdens for new, heavier ones. Things like immense responsibility, absolutely crushing expectations from everyone, and this constant, relentless pressure to do it all over again.
And here's something pretty chilling about fame. You think it's going to build you a fortress, but really, it just puts you inside a glass house. Suddenly, your circle of people you can actually trust gets smaller and smaller, while every single move you make is put under a microscope. You're not protected from the world, you're just exposed. You kind of become a target.
So after all this, what's the big lesson? What's the takeaway from this whole journey? Well, it all boils down to one final, really actionable idea about purpose.
And the advice here isn't that fluffy, follow your passion stuff you always hear. No, it's way more practical, way more rugged. First, chase discipline, not motivation.
because motivation comes and goes. Second, you have to accept struggle. Don't see it as a sign you're failing. See it as proof you're actually doing something that matters. And finally, embrace the pressure, because anything truly meaningful is forged in fire, right?
I love this quote because it completely reframes how we should think about hardship. The struggle isn't some roadblock you're supposed to go around. No, it's the entry fee. It's the price you pay to do something important. I mean, think about it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
All right, as we start to wrap this up, think about this for a second. People are not going to get it. They're going to misunderstand your obsession, your sacrifices. That's just a given. But the real tragedy, it's not being misunderstood. The real tragedy is living your whole life, getting to the end, and realizing you never had a mission worth being misunderstood for in the first place.
And that brings us to this final, crystal clear thought. All the pain, the struggle, the sleepless nights, the failures, all of it, it's temporary. It passes. But regret? The regret of not even trying, of not going after that mission you knew was necessary? That sticks with you forever. So, in the end, we're going to turn this whole lesson right back to you. Look, this isn't about becoming some billionaire or a titan of industry. It's about you finding your own answer to this one question. What is your mission? What's the thing that makes all the pain, all the struggle feel secondary? If you can find that, well, you've found the real secret to a life that actually means something.